fantastic, fantastic way of you know kind of raising awareness in the community about all these things that are happening. There's so much happening. I was also doing a little research to talk about today, and it's just so much. There's so much um,
Yeah.
that's going on that we need to really, focus and raise awareness and try to do our best to have our representatives also do
Absolutely.
something about it, right?
That's right.
So
Absolutely. And I think no better way to get encouraged than through music, because music has a way of really touching you without you even realizing it. So I'm excited to get into our first piece. And I just want to let everybody know that we might not play all the pieces in full, but we're going to have them available to you online because they're so amazing and so beautiful. So I think it's Mimi and Arco. You're going to talk to us about Sahara Amazon. That's the first one that we're going to get into. And I want you to introduce it and give us a brief introduction. And of course, we're going to come back and answer questions and have questions, but we want to get right into the beautiful visual and the music.
Were we going to play the piece first? I'm sorry, or did you want us to speak a bit upon it?
If you can introduce it, and then we'll just get right into it.
So Arco just has composed this piece. So would you like to do the honors, Miss Sandocal?
Yeah, sure. I originally wrote this piece because I've just been very worried about the different countries and land that lies on the equatorial latitude. So like the Amazon, um, the Congo, those areas are going through a lot of severe land degradation. And it's been part of a field for climate change because we're losing so many trees at such an alarming rate, and it's fueling wildfires. I have a lot of family in California who were experiencing a lot of wildfires and a lot of land loss, and this started to really speak to me on a personal level. I have a lot of family in Mexico too, so the climate change there has been really extreme. And so Sahara Amazon kind of just covers like a multi-continental experience of going through that devastating amount of land degradation, and as well as how it affects the life there, because we're also going through that biotic crisis. So we're losing a lot of animals, something like 1 million species all the time now. Maybe I'm not sure, I don't want to say, but I know that we've degraded 17% of the Amazon so far. And if we get to 25%, it will become like the Sahara Desert. That's what's been predicted. So this was the video has a lot to do with interviewing different tribes, different people who live there and their experiences. So you might not see the video in this video, since it's a video of the orchestra and the dancers. And I show a lot of the different species like elephants that are being affected, and different birds and such. So anyway, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Arco. Here is Sahara Amazon. Okay, I'm here. Hold on. No, I'm not sure. I know we're not able to play the entire video. And I'm not sure if that was a glitch or not, but absolutely beautiful. I'm actually, I was in a little bit of a trance. So pardon me for kind of having to get like my words and my speech together. It's interesting, you know, one of my favorite shows to really dive into, it might sound a little corny, is National Geographic. I love learning about the different areas in the world and the different animals. And but to think that, you know, if you saw the video in the background and then the orchestra and the dancing, and someone asked, what does D.O.M.E stand for? It's dance, orchestration, music, environment. So you saw all of that just now in that amazing video. I literally was getting chills and a little bit emotional. I had to kind of really reel myself in, especially with you, Arco, talking about the loss. I mean, 1 million species, that just sounds, I just can't even really fathom that really being a number that we have to accept.
One of the things that I've been doing during the pandemic is bird watching. So I was going since March 2000 to the Ramble and bird watching almost every day and learning about the different species there, making some friends who've been doing it for 30, 40 years. And what's really sad is that this year, there have been almost no birds, very few, even sparrows. It's not like it used to be. And so a lot of people were saying this is really unusual, and it could be due to how climate change is affecting their flight patterns, all these extreme weather events. So it's been crazy just seeing one or two of a species here and there. Whereas even last year and the year before, for me, I was seeing way more of every species. And there were these cute little bluebirds that have little mohawks. They were everywhere, and they're called titmice. But none were there this year. We saw none, and everybody was very concerned about it. So it was kind of like, it's interesting to see even how that Anthropocene problem is affecting just the birds and migration patterns.
Now, writing this piece, was this something, I mean, it just seems so detailed, yet just perfect. Was it something that you were able to sit down and write in one shot? Is it something that you felt you had to go back to with every bit of information you were learning about the Amazon and the Sahara? It's just so interesting to hear how something like this comes together.
Oh, well, when I was growing up, my dad started me on improvising when I was like 3 or 4. Nice. And so, and also listening to McCoy Tyner. But anyway, one of the movies that he liked to watch was Baraka, right? It's called Baraka, and it's like all these like natural environments and the Tibetan monks. And it's like this beautiful, like a documentary style movie, and I would like improvise to that, and I was always improvising all the time. So at some point, if I was feeling emotional about a certain topic, I just hear it and I just go and I just write it down, and I'm really lucky. So I just wrote that in a few days, and we were in a little time crunch, so she was like, let's go. And I was like, it's done. And
wow.
yeah, so I thought about what the elephants must be going through, and different species.
The emotion was certainly felt. I have to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arco. My little busy bird might be peeking on in, so we're gonna move on.
Awesome.
To our next video, which is Reflections, and it's Reflections with a Z at the end. So I can't wait to hear about that, because I know that was done. There's a specific reason for that one.
Well, I like to give little twists on things, especially of Ebonics. I'm originally from the Boogie Down Bronx in New York City, and I don't know, graffiti art really means a lot to me, and so I see things like that in you know, the Ebonics language and things like that, just to give it a little bit of oomph to it, and make it pop. But Reflections is basically about water, the power of water, the grace of water, how we desperately need it. And its importance, how it's outside of our bodies everywhere, but it's also makes up such a big part of our bodies. And, I at that time, because he now has passed, I'm very sorry to say, we featured Brother Musawer. He was a Tai Chi master on it, and my father does a lot of Tai Chi. He runs an organization called CERN, as well as one called ESPN, based in the Bronx, and they deal with a lot of health and wellness. And so we wanted to pair up with the Tai Chi class and actually teach a class along with this fluidity. So myself and Brother Musawir got together and tried to find a nice pace for a song for his movement. This continuous movement, like water, is it penetrates. It can penetrate very hard surfaces. It can get into places where other things can't. It is extremely powerful, as we know. It will literally move an island, mountains, and wash away an entire civilization. So, and then at the same time, it's something that we can't hold. We try to bottle it, we try to grab onto it, and it's gone. So it's in the moment. Right now, a lot of our oceans are just being very much abused and oversaturated. And we'll talk more about that with some of the other tunes that we have coming up. But just in brief, water is so important, and we need to make sure that we have it and take care of ourselves on this planet. And so I just wanted to do a little overview and a homage to water with the piece called Reflection.
I think that was the perfect. All right. Now, it's interesting. I didn't want to, put my foot in my mouth, but I had a feeling because we mentioned graffiti that I was going to see colors in the background. And they were just coming at me. And I got to tell you something, I'm a hip hop girl. And of course, there's always a thing of, did hip hop come from the Bronx or from Queens? We won't get into that. But I got to tell you something. Head nodding is not just for hip hop, because did you all see the people in the orchestra? And did you see how Mimi plays that bass? She plays it like she's got some hip hop going on back there. And I mean, head nodding is not just for hip hop, it's for music that really feels good. And that, once again, felt amazing. Reflections. Mimi, let's get Leonor on here to talk about this. Just beautiful visuals, amazing music. Oh man, I could play that and just feel good. And one of the great things about water, in Tai Chi, I was reading about that, the movement, and it's about meditation, and it's powerful, and the health benefits. I feel so calm around water. So that was just so nice to just take a breather too.
Yeah, so water. I actually, when we had our meeting before, I actually was, Sahara Amazon struck a chord with me, because I'm Venezuelan and I know that there is a horrific environmental crisis in the Amazon there. And as I was reading, I realized how many things this issue is affecting. So the big issue there is the illegal mining. And I was, that causes deforestation, air pollution. It's polluting mainly the water. So we're talking about water now. So because exploiting all these minerals means they have to use mercury, that's how you say that, mercury and cyanuro. I didn't look up that word in English, but I think it's the same. Cyanure. It's a chemical that's very poisonous, and that in high levels, as with the mercury, it's really bad. So these chemicals are polluting the water. They're also polluting the animals that live in the water. They're also polluting the plants that use this water, because then it evaporates, it rains the chemicals. But also this is water from the Rio Caroni, the Caroni River, which is the second biggest river in Venezuela. And this water is ending up in the Atlantic Ocean. So it's also polluting a lot of the Caribbean Sea and its surrounding area. So yeah, I read a report from 2018, and it said that 70% of this water is already polluted, but this was 2018 and we're in 2022. So the situation there, I know, like, it's kind of sad because the video is so beautiful, and it's more about how beautiful we need our water, etc. And I'm here saying all the the dark stuff.
Not at all.
But I thought it was really important to mention, because I don't know that there's a lot of information out there. At least I didn't see. I saw reports in Spanish, but very local, like Venezuelan organizations that are trying to put this out there. And this is also, of course, affecting the health of the indigenous groups that live in the area, because, of course, they consume this water, they consume the fish. They have apparently 5 times the levels of mercury that it's a limit. So it's 5 times the limit of mercury you should have in your body. So they're being poisoned. And yeah, I mean, this illegal mining leaves also like holes on the earth that then fill in with water, but then it's stuck there. So mosquitoes are coming. So the levels of malaria are through the roof now in this area. So it made me think about how all this damage of different parts of the world and different elements are connected, because then this thing travels through, you know, water is everywhere. We consume water, we need water, animals need water, plants need water, and this, that it's happening just in that area, which is the size of this this is called the Arco Minero, so it's the mining arch, it's called. This is a whole sector in Venezuela, and it's as big as Portugal, or bigger than the country of Portugal. So it's that's really concerning, and it's happening because it was illegal mining, but now is, I don't want to get too political here, but they did approve a law to let people from other countries come and do that. However, that law goes against an article in the Constitution that actually protects indigenous people and the Amazon forest. So it is kind of illegal still. It's just a move that they did because the country was in a big economic crisis. So they thought, okay, let's just exploit this and get income for the country here. But it's really not the answer, because it's going to bring worse consequences to the country and the world, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
don't feel bad. You know, the darkness, we need to know about it, because we want to get back to the beauty and the color, and that's what's going to inspire us to get there. So thank you for that. And about being political, we want everyone here to speak their truth. Okay, don't be afraid to do that. All right, Mimi.
I just wanted to say, Zoma, she translated what cyanuro was, and it's cyanide, and that's poison. It's like straight poison. So it's just, it's, you know, it's really out of control. Also, water, in terms of these hurricanes that are now, you know, an annual thing. I mean, it used to be sort of like, it seemed like it was contained to, you know, the Caribbean islands in a certain time frame, maybe in the late summer or the fall. But now it's just the fact that it made it to New York City. It's in Texas every year. It's spreading across. It's really growing, you know. And I can't even speak for the Pacific Islands and what they go through as far in terms of you know, the what do you call it, the waves, the giant waves. Like, I'm having a brain freeze right now, but um tsunamis, yes. And so I really feel like we do need to pay continuous attention to this situation. And we tend to get distracted as humans, speaking in terms of political stuff. You know, we are always distracted with like the wrong thing. And meanwhile, you know, there are people on the ground trying to make this work, but it's going to take everyone to focus and get this right. So I just wanted to add that.
Yes, absolutely. And Goussy, I think you have something you want to add as well. I don't want you to feel silence. Please jump in to the conversation.
Yeah, no, everything that Leonor and Mimi just said really resonates. One thing that's coming up for me in this conversation is how, you know, we're talking about how these direct actions deeply impact people in certain communities, the indigenous population, people in the Caribbean, people who are generally marginalized. And I feel like somehow in countries that have more privilege, we hear this and we think, oh, this is a situation that only affects them. There's this sort of disconnection, this us and them. So let's see what we can do to help them. And I would really like to see a situation where people start turning the mirror towards themselves and how can we help ourselves, and seeing that it's not really an us and them. We're going out to help these quote unquote poor populations, but seeing that if it's in the water, even if it's on the coastline of Venezuela or in Colombia or in Haiti, it's, you know, water, it's a conduit, it travels, it's coming to our shores here too, where it's the entire globe. It may take some time, it may be 6 months time or maybe less. Like when there's an oil spill in the water, that's a problem. You know, whether it's happening off the shore of Japan, that's a problem for us in the United States. For people on the coast of California, you know, on the Pacific who are just on the other side of that, like, I feel like it's really important to have this lens of connection, and that this is for all of us. This is not just for people in some faraway country that this is happening to offshore and it's not going to affect us. You know, it's one body. If something happens over here in my hand, if I don't take care of it, gangrene can happen, and before I know it, something's going on with my foot. Like, it's one body. So I think that that's something I really wish and hope for, like a true part of the conversation about climate change, that it's not something that's far from us.
Yeah, it's not that's their problem over there. It's this is our problem here and now. And I think, you know, the way you all are really, the way you're describing it, how something happening in Venezuela, something happening in the Amazon is directly affecting us today in South Jersey, in the Bronx, in New York, and in California. We're not that far apart when it comes to climate change, which is now a climate crisis, and this is why. We have more that we are going to get into. I'm not sure if there were any other questions. I know Leonor, you had mentioned the hurricanes. I don't know if you had more that you wanted to say about how that has been affected.
No, it's it's all out there, you know.
Yeah.
It's how that is connected, you know, with the global warming and the hurricanes that go directly to the Caribbean, you know, and it's yeah.
My family's from the Caribbean, so I can understand. And I mean, I haven't been there in so many years, but that doesn't mean that the connection is not, it's not still there. Yeah. Absolutely. Hsinwei, did you want to jump in as well?
I mean, they cover pretty much everything. It's just talking about water. I think it can be so far away or so close to us. I remember I just saw a short clip, Jen Good talking about water. Back in the day, they probably going to take a bath only once a week. And that amount of water is the water they take a bath, and that's enough for them to clean themselves. And right now, just flushing the toilet for us using so many water. And all of this, I think it's really, really uncomfortable for us to live when we're living in such a convenient world to think about, but that's all part of the thing we should consider when we talk about water and environment, I think.
And that's why these discussions are important. We need to be reminded, you know, that our everyday use really affects so much more than just what's happening in our homes.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to speak a little bit about, because we're talking about climate change, and of course, obviously that means our climate and our atmosphere, and this is a giant ecosystem. Everything, like Goussy says, affects the other thing. It's not like it's detached. Right now we're having, you know, an oil problem. You know, why are we still using that? But I wanted to mention that water also connects us, you know, because it's what babies live in, and we have mothers here. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the mothers here on the panel and all you guys out there in the world watching. You know, water really brings us together, and you know, thank you for carrying all that water, that mini universe for 9 months. You know, and you know, I just wanted to throw that out there. It's a little like,
they kind of lie to you. It's more than 9 months. I think it's like, it feels like 12.
okay. Yeah.
But thank you for that, because it most certainly symbolizes that life is coming, right? For those of us that have carried, we know that, oh, it's time to go. So water, there's that power, that powerful force that it holds, right?
Right. And just ask if you guys feel just a little concerned about the future. I mean, you are all your babies happen to all be sort of around the same age, from like maybe I think Leonor is about to have a 1 year old. Whoop, whoop.
Ooh.
So like 1 until what, 10 is are
7 to
your boys?
12.
12. Oh my God. See, look at that. Jesus Christ. How does that affect you as a mother? It must be a layered of stress that kind of just comes on your heart, knowing that we're not doing the best we can do with the earth.
I mean, as parents, but as mothers, we think about the future all the time. I mean, you wake up in the morning cooking breakfast, you're already thinking about what you're making for dinner. The future is always on our mind. So of course you think about, where is my child going to be even when I'm not around? I think a lot of us even think, we have those thoughts, and it's very concerning to think, what are we leaving for them? And of course, I want her to, go on and have children. So what are we leaving for my children's children? So it's very, very concerning. We make a thing of going out to take out the recycling together. So it's little things like that to get them excited and to become knowledgeable and aware of their everyday movement, so that they can have more of this earth for them, but it's concerning.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with this. It's something that's a part of my consciousness. I think just every day I think about what am I leaving? Like, part of the conversation in my mind is about legacy, and legacy is not only just like what I'm leaving personally, but also like what this world will be like for them, because I think that's part of the legacy as well. Another thing I actually hadn't mentioned, and it just came up, is that my older son was actually deeply impacted by water because he was exposed to lead, unbeknownst to me, when he was younger. And so he presents as someone who's like high functioning on the spectrum, but his doctor really feels that a lot of it is impacted through lead. So we had to go through we meaning my husband and I had to go through a very arduous and very delicate chelation process. And this is New York City. And he, his water, he was affected. We lived at the time in an old building with old pipes. So, it's, again, like I said before, it's not far away. Like, even people think about Flint, Michigan, and the water in Flint, but here children can be impacted by metals and chemicals in their water as well. And that's something that, like, I'm constantly in battle with. Like, what could I have changed? Should I have tested earlier when he was a baby? I didn't know. Or, usually lead testing doesn't happen until like you're a year old or 2 years old. But even then, I still am like, what could have changed? So it's a constant conversation that I have. It's like, what can I do to set my sons up so that they're going to be okay? But I realize that this isn't just my work alone. It's a collaboration. It's all of us. So how do we get how many billion people on the world on the same page about what we need to do so that the legacies that we're leaving our children is not total destruction? It's a challenge.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're in the right step with what we do as artists by just even raising awareness and having the conversation, but I'm also aware that it doesn't stop there, that there also needs to be action. There needs to be some concerted action with what we do that moves this in a direction that at least they're left with something, that can build on. Because I think the earth will be okay at some point. It's really us. It's really us,
Good point. Good point. I feel like the earth is always okay. So that's that really need to.
She will regenerate herself in some way, shape, or form. I traveled to Hawaii recently, about almost a month ago. And speaking of tsunamis, I see that in the chat there's a conversation about tsunamis. I got a chance to visit the Volcano National Park and see one of the active volcanoes there. And what I noticed was that where the lava flows were, where it was just like, these were places that there was a community there, and now it's just lava. All of a sudden you can look and see like all this different growth coming in through the lava rock. And that just was a reminder that the earth, she's going to regenerate.
It'll be all right, right.
Like that's going to be a forest years from now, because it's just like there's all these different shoots of plants and different things just kind of growing up, plant life growing up in the cracks in between the lava rock. So yeah, I really feel like we also need to just be cognizant that it's really us. It's really like what's going to happen to, even after we leave, our children, our children's 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 children. It's about the longevity of who we are as parts of nature, because we're also elements of nature, and not just us as humans, but animals, everything that's a part of nature. What's going to happen, because the actual globe, the earth itself, the land will regenerate itself in some way and will adapt. But where will we be? Where will the animals be? Where will everything that we know and hold dear be?
Right. Well, this is a great segue, as we say in radio, into the next song, into the next video, which is called Life After Earth. It's a song and a video about the future. So I honestly feel that we don't really need more of an introduction, because we've been kind of setting that up, talking about where are we headed and what kind of future our kids and our kids' kids can possibly have. So let's get right into it. Life After Earth. All right. That was a nice one. Life After Earth. If that is where the future is headed, it sounds like it's got some oomph and some energy and just some hope to it. All right. Who's here to talk about Life After Earth, the future, and more? Who's going to jump in on this one with me?
Well, I wrote it, so I guess.
Come on,
I should.
Arco.
Okay, well, I was hoping we get to the, I know we couldn't get to the end, but the end is really, really special, actually.
Well, tell us about it. Tell us what we might have missed out on.
Well, I wish, I don't see Franchesa Harper here, but what was so cool was it was almost emulating like a spaceship. I felt like a sort of spaceship module habitation vibe when we were doing this one, and they like tear up the floor. And it was really kind of, I think that was kind of an improvised thing. I'm not sure, but I remember that had like a real profound effect on the audience. They just start tearing up the floor and throwing it, and it had a very almost like rebellious energy to it. And we definitely had fun playing it. I mean, it was just this crazy blues. Mimi told me, why don't we try a blues? I said,
okay, so that was the blues.
That was Arco's version. I know that so Arco mentioned Franchesa Harper. She was here actually for a split second, and
yeah.
also her lead dancer Eriko. And just want to give them a shout out and say thank you. And I believe the other dancer in the video, his name is Josh, and he's fantastic. So
Yep.
they work for Franchesa Harper company, dance company, and we did a collaboration with that company, with D.O.M.E, and they put the piece together for that. So that's kind of what Arco's talking about. And yeah, it was just like an epic moment that happened. Part of what we do is improv. We are definitely orchestrating the music, so it's, it's pre-written, but then there are sections where things might happen impromptu. Somebody will just get the Holy Ghost and just go at it, some kind of spirit will jump up in there and so it's exciting, and we leave the project open for that type of interpretation.
Nice.
Which
is it
makes
safe to say that that's something somehow reflective of what's happening with climate change? We think things are going one way, and then it's 80 degrees in February. it's kind of unexpected. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're trying to, it's such a weird time because everyone now is taking off their mask in, the Northeast corridor of the country. And we are kind of like, yay, because now we heard that there's another variant, and people are pretty much tired of it. So they're like, all right, I'll just deal with it. But it's just like a day by day kind of thing. I feel that we really don't know. This is a different era and place and space and time where we really don't know. I have a friend who just got COVID, and he was knocked out for 3 weeks, and then someone else might get it. It's like, oh, simple cold, nothing, just sore throat. So I think it's important, that we maintain a positive attitude, because if we just go completely dark, we can't even function. It's just like, oh, forget this. It's not, what's the point, And we have to find things to continue to give us hope so that we can work on it. But on the flip side, it's okay to get angry about these things and be passionate, and people to speak out and speak their truths, and formulate communities as formulate power as groups and communities to make it get done, because we just don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
So you're
just
right.
when we thought we did, it just we feels like the rug kind of got pulled out from under us. So now we have to really think about things so differently, heading into the future. Someone actually had a good question, because when we talk about future, I think food insecurity is really important. That's something I've been learning about over the past few years, and how it greatly affects people right next door to you. So the question that we have is your work concerned with food insecurity as the floods continue to increase. Root vegetables become saturated and die. We talked about this earlier when I introduced it. I talked about how this is affecting food and how people eat.
And the
Yeah.
cost of living. I'm sorry. Did I cut someone off? You
Nope.
Jump on in, ladies.
Mimi has actually, we haven't talked about it yet, really, but SBEN and CERN deal with this emergency preparedness. And at some point during the pandemic, they were having these events where they were giving out boxes of different supplies, and food insecurity is a really big problem across the world right now, even just with supply chain issues. But even deeper than that, the way climate change is it is altering our land and what we're able to grow, what we're able to produce. And I just wanted to highlight that Mimi's family is connected and has organizations like CERN, Citizens Emergency Preparedness Network, I remember, and SBEN, South Bronx, right? South Bronx Emergency Network. And these events are really, really powerful. And it's stuff that we hope to continue doing, is having community events where we can hand out different supplies. And it was really amazing what your family was doing. Really amazing. So, but yeah.
And that's sort of the mission of D.O.M.E. Actually, we want to be active, in the community, in the sense of, I mean, music is healing itself, and it calms our beast within and just helps us to get through. But also physically, we want to continue pairing up with different organizations that are doing amazing things, and we welcome people to reach out to us. We did a fundraiser for Hurricane Maria for Puerto Rico at that time, and Puerto Rico still suffers today. They're still trying to get it together. I think they just got some money, maybe in 2022, the end of 2021, to rebuild, but it's an ongoing thing, and we just want to be, like I said, in the mix of that, philanthropist, and really in a position to help. We don't have tons of money as musicians. We're definitely trying to find our way. I know right now food is expensive. It's out of this world. So it's definitely a hustle going on, but we want to use our platform to get people excited, to rile people up, to spread information, and not do it in a way that feels like your point of view is marginalized, but like give everyone a sort of a place. So.
Yeah. I think what you're doing is really letting people know how more connected we are in this fight, and in this mission than we are separated. So that's what I'm really enjoying. Even learning today is how, no matter how far a place is, what's happening there still affects me right here. So I'm getting that from you ladies so well today, so much today. And I thank you for that. And I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in. We can actually go on to our next song, Aquariana. Did I say that right? Aquariana, I'm wondering if that has to do, is there anyone who has that zodiac sign? Aquarius, is it connected to that? Who's going to talk to me?
Oh, my dad's Aquarius. That was my first orchestration I wrote specifically for D.O.M.E.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah,
right.
a lot to do with trawling, the effects of trawling, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is now 3 times the size of France. I just saw that. So all these things affect especially loggerhead sea turtles. And I mean, a lot of these marine animals are mistaking plastic in the ocean for food. And eventually that poisons us because we can't eat animals that have been eating plastic. So right now our system is just so out of whack. But it's yeah, it starts off really sad, but there's some hopefulness to it eventually. But yes, that's Aquariana.
All right, let's get right into it. Aquariana. All right. I have to say this before we get in and start to ask our final questions and close out things. More women should write way more music. There's absolutely a difference, nothing against the men. You guys do great too, but there's just something about this music that I heard today that is not going anywhere. It's just with me now forever. It feels good and it just comes with a message too. So it's like you're getting a double whammy. Aquariana, Arco, like you said, it starts off a little mellow, but there's something about you. You like to write and kind of hit people with some force and some power, don't you?
Oh God. I
Amazing.
guess I'm so inspired by just not only the environment, but how we exist in our environment together. And when I think about something like the ocean, I think about just how powerful it is, and the harmonies, I think, sort of just reflect that to me, just wanting to bring people into this world of beauty and oceanic diversity, and hoping to preserve that as we keep evolving together.
Right. It's funny, in the ocean, you can either kind of just float along, or a wave can come along and take you out, take you out. And that music is almost reminiscent of just that experience. Just so amazing. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in on here. I was asking who was conducting because I couldn't, it was hard to take my eyes off of that young lady who is just leading that amazing group. Give me her name.
Eriko Seguin.
All right.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yes.
She's a great writer too. Yeah.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah, so anyone who wants to jump in here, make sure that you do, as we talk about Aquariana, and it's interesting, I think I saw what looked like a coffee cup in the ocean. Was that one of the visuals that I saw? If someone might want to correct me. It reminds me, when we talk about the plastic and then the garbage,
right,
and that the animals are consuming that, and then we end up consuming those animals. It's all affected. We're all of it's
the circle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think we have just a few more minutes to go. I don't know if anyone else has any questions. I know we actually have a question. Sheila said that she's setting up some food hubs across Haiti. So there's some initiatives working there. That's right. Look, ladies, we're gonna do this, okay? Because Earth is Mother Earth, isn't she? So if you all please continue to write this music. And here's a question I have before we get into the final one. What is the future plans for D.O.M.E and this music? Because me being a radio person, I just can't wait to get this music out to everyone. Are there plans to record or put this somewhere else where the world can see and feel it and see it? They got to see it too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nicole, and everyone else with these beautiful comments that you have been dropping into the box. It means so much to put together a project of this magnitude. Is so difficult, but it is so rewarding at the same time. And we've been waiting for the pandemic to subside a bit, because we are a large group of people that have to come together. And that was one of our challenges. We were able to do something actually in Central Park in the middle, I would say, when the pandemic was really strong. We got outside and we did some stuff, and it was great. But we are hoping to get together with FHP, which is Franchesa Harper Project, and the group, the ladies that you see here, as well as there are about maybe 20 more of us, and we want to do something. We got a grant actually, and we were trying to do something at Alvinelli or Carnegie Hall. So right before we got into that, that's when everything kind of shut down. So we're kind of getting our lives back together, wiping off the dirt, the debris, and getting our hands back into it. So we hope to see you live sometime, in 2022 or 2023.
Absolutely. Where can everyone here find out more about the D.O.M.E project? And maybe quickly, everyone can just give their website before we get into our last one, our closing video.
We'll
We'll start with you, Arco.
Oh, I just wanted to say the website for the D.O.M.E experience, which needs to be a little updated. I do that too. www.thedomexperience.com. But we will be in the process of securing some more grants. There's one that could make a really big difference to us. And if we get it, we will be recording, we will be performing all over the place. So yay, fingers crossed. And yeah, thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much for interviewing us, taking the time to do that. And thank you to all the musicians that are here today. You guys are amazing, very meaningful.
I
Thank you,
wanted to
guys.
give a quick shout out to the great Pamela Morgan.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Is a shaker and a mover. She does it. She didn't show her face today, but she is here with us. She's the reason why we're here, and she is such a great supporter. I love you, Pamela. Thank you for all the love and support that you throw our way.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that, Mimi. Right. Let's see. You know, Hsinwei, I haven't heard from you in a while. So if you want to close out and tell us your website and just a couple of words.
First, I just really want to say thank you to Mimi and Arco listening to this music again. I just feel really lucky to be part of it because it's like we travel through the music and because we get chance to play the instrument with the composition, it's like we are part of the crew, you know, like, and they are the pilot. It's just such a great experience. And yeah, thank you so much for having us and get a chance to listen to everybody and the thoughts of the project. And my album is going to come out. I talk a little bit about global warming too, because I'm talking about 4 seasons. As a mother, I found out that how different the climate change. I didn't get a chance to experience snow living in the island used to snow. And right now I'm seeing like the snow getting less and less. And I wonder what will happen in the future, you know. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Leonor, any closing words?
Well, yeah, thank you, everybody, Mimi and Arco and Pamela for having us and Nicole for conducting us. Yeah, what can I say? I'm as a mom, I am asking myself these questions right now because my baby is 1 year old. I heard what Goussy said about the lead poisoning, and we had to test our baby 4 months ago because the ceiling was falling apart, and we were afraid that the building was had that problem too. It's ongoing worrying. You know, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? How can I set up the best environment possible for him to be healthy and to make him aware of these things as he grows up? So these are very important questions, and I'm glad that other people are also thinking about them. We're thinking about it together.
That's right. Thank you so much. And I think this time, Goussy, you might be the last, but definitely not the least. Any closing words and website, any information that you have to leave us with?
I wanted to also thank Pamela for having us all come together, and thank you, Nicole, for facilitating us in conversation about this very, very important ongoing conversation. Thank you I was looking at some of the comments and questions everyone, the participants have been putting in, and one in particular mentioning that she's doing some work in Haiti regarding food insecurity. So please reach out to me. My website is Goussy Celestin. It's my name. You can see my handle on this little Zoom box here. It's myname.com. I would love to hear more about this work that you're doing. I think that it's important for us to just maintain this conversation and active awareness, because I think that's really what's going to breed problem solving, so that we can just continue on to find ways to be able to like make this planet livable for all of us and for our children and their children. So yeah, let's not stop here. Let's continue.
That's right. All right. Well, I think we are getting ready to close out. Oop. You say, is that your kids or mine? I think it's yours.
That's my son. He's
I kept mine quiet.
Play, so he's happy.
Oh yeah, I had to promise mine a D.O.M.E to keep quiet. So But I thank everybody so much for this. And this was really empowering for me. You know, this is a different interview for me. While I always get to sit and talk with musicians and they all have a purpose of some kind, this was very much important to me because it reminded me that I need to do a little bit more in my everyday. And the music and the visual was truly empowering. And there's certain times you see things and you just know that it'll always be with you. And this music is just, I can't wait to hear and see more. And Mimi, you know this, but you ladies should know this too. I'm here for you. I'm here for the music. I'm here for the support. So let's make sure that this is not our last time getting together and talking and supporting this cause. All right, I think we're going to get ready to sign off. Each and every one of you that are out there, though we can't see you, we feel your presence, we see the questions and the love, and we thank you all so much. And once again, Miss Pamela, she's one of the most humble people on this earth, but she's also one of the most amazing, the most supporting, encouraging, and loving. And so we thank her so much for getting this together. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And I forgot to say, this is Road Less Travels to send you all on your way with some great vibes.
Yes, this is written by Goussy, Celestin. Thank you.
The road less traveled, a path to internal delusion. As I climb into my mind's confusion, to tear down the walls of ego's illusion. Set sail my heart on butterfly wings. Forge a light, new yet old, a sweet memory. Don't force, just flow, 'cause down deep you know the road less traveled. Though you know deep inside there are places to hide, you wonder if it's safe to go. Then the fear takes a hold and discredits your soul as the whole of all there is to know. I can let my mind perform its trickery, or just finally let it go and simply be. No more time to waste, I am patient. In no time I'll reach the road less traveled, a path to eternal life. Sing heart, take flight, let love lead you right to the road less
All right, Goussy, that was so nice. Road less travel. I actually almost forgot to introduce that, but you know what? It didn't even need my introduction because I don't even think anyone left the room. The music just started and everyone was stuck because that's how good music gets you. It just, you can't even move, you can't even go anywhere. Road less travel, I think a beautiful tune, a perfect one to truly send us off this time. So once again, thank you to all you amazing ladies. And I can't wait to see, hear, and feel way more of you coming our way. Thank you.
Thank you.